Hey there, you beautiful badass. Welcome to the Keri Croft Show. I'm your host, Keri Croft, delivering you stories that get you pumped up and feeling like the unstoppable savage that you are. So grab your coffee, put on your game face, and let's do this thing, baby. So how many people ask you if it's really worth it to get a haircut by Mia Santiago?
Honestly, a lot. And honestly, it is.
I mean, she is a celebrity hairstylist in Columbus, Ohio. That's all you really need to know.
She doesn't miss, and now she has her own salon, Headspace. It is truly something the city has never seen.
Girl, I did one scalp treatment, and I would let Jake put his hands on my head anytime he wanted.
No, same. It's right in Upper Arlington where Mia cuts and styles, and Jake manages a full scalp spa, which is like a facial for your scalp and a massage for all of the stress and tension we hold in our head and neck.
I legit felt like I was on something after I got my first treatment, and my hair looks so much healthier now that all the buildup and dead skin are gone. I mean, I do love massages, but honestly, this might be even better. Plus, it has so many proven benefits for my hair health.
Truly believe you get what you pay for, and Mia and Jake are the dream team.
Use code Keri for 20% off your first visit with Miss Mia Santiago.
How'd you get Crazy Bone? That was awesome.
Can I tell you a story?
How'd you get him?
When I first started the show and I was in my home office, I had a vision of having not just him, but people like him, like cool hip hop artists. And I was like, is this the vibe for this? No, that's why I like quickly moved in here with the vision of having that type of guest. But he was always him and busy and lazy, all of them. I started to just genuinely breadcrumb him on DM.
Okay.
It's a very slippery slope. I think DM, it is a doorway into people that you would never have access to.
Right. It 100% is.
But it's also, you know, you could be like stalker status.
Yes.
So you have to be you have to know what you're doing.
Yes.
I should probably do like a little ebook on how to breadcrumb on DM.
101, not how to be creepy.
Yeah, because I got 311 too that way.
Wow.
The S.A. Martinez.
Okay.
So my breadcrumb strategy seems to be working for me so far.
Yeah.
And all I can say about that is I'm just who I am, and my admiration for them. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I have this show. It's kind of a clusterfuck.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I have loved you since I was in the womb. I'm not Martha from Baby Reindeer, but you know, so sometimes on DM I'll do like a video DM.
Okay. Oh.
So I think
people look at it.
Well, so I think I was running once and I was like, crazy, listen.
Yeah.
Just your girl Keri. Sometimes you want to see people in the flesh and not just like who's behind it.
Right.
So he gave me his manager, Bernadette. And so then Bernadette and I started to develop rapport. So then I knew, I was like, if it was meant to be, it's going to be. And I kind of just loosely kept in touch. Like I'll do like a story and have like their song, like their music on, and I'll tag it. You know, it's not an every day or an every week. It's just a very organic thing. Well, then I saw they were coming to Columbus to perform at the Newport, and I was like, this is your moment.
Yeah.
So I reached back out to him. He was so great.
Yeah.
Got back with Bernadette. And he rolled in here with his bodyguard, and the rest is history.
Were you so nervous?
You know, I wasn't. I was, because I'm like, I've been preparing for this I love them.
Yes.
And that's where you kind of aren't nervous, because I've been listening to them since I was so young.
Right.
I had real nervous energy though, but I didn't have anxiety.
Right.
And there's a big difference for me, because when I get anxiety, it's not good. But I had to go wait for him on the stoop.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hey, here I am.
So then I get him in here.
Yeah.
And did you happen to see the clip about the dog?
I did see that clip. Yeah. 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 I saw the little clip. Yeah. As we were going.
So I was gonna remove that completely. I thought that I had removed it from the episode. I somehow didn't. My nanny reaches out to me and goes, oh, you changed your mind about the dog. I didn't want Thug Nation. They didn't know who I was, right?
Right.
I didn't want to come out of the gate asking Crazy Bone who killed whose dog.
But that's what makes it so wonderful, though.
That's the thing. So
that's what's going to make it viral.
Well, it went viral.
Exactly.
So Bone Thugs, they have their own podcast, apparently. They took it and they clipped that part and they put it on YouTube, and it says, woman asked Crazy Bone who killed Wish's dog. If you would see the comment section, half of the community, half of Thug Nation was like, okay, Ellen, Like she thinks she's funny. She thinks she's Ellen DeGeneres. Like they thought that I set him up.
Right.
And then the other half is like, are you the dumbest person in the universe? I truly thought it was a dog. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. I know hip hop. I thought the dog was extra.
But that's what makes it viral, and that's what makes it wonderful. And those are the little tiny things that you never know is just going to blow up like that.
But that's what you're all about, right? The relatability and the realness.
Yes.
All right, so let's let me officially start this before we just get into a flow state. Shanisty Ireland.
Hello.
You metallic goddess, you.
I know, right?
Welcome to the Keri Croft Show.
I'm glad that I'm here and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, this shirt was not too much. I thought it would be. No. I thought it would be. But I almost wore this shirt with like these leopards coming down and my husband's like, what is that?
No, you're
He's like, what are you going for? And I was like, I'm me. And he's like, but he literally said, like, what is your angle? And I was like, I'm just going to be me.
I think I actually know what you're talking about, the shirt.
Yeah.
And I actually love that shirt.
Well, thank you. It's relatable, right?
No, I love it.
I'll get people being like, where did you get that? Amazon. Everything's Amazon.
Yeah.
Just really, inexpensive, just easy
But you
stuff.
just have that way about you where I think you're the kind of girl that can put something on and make it look like $1 million.
Well, that's very kind of you.
It's true.
That's very kind of you.
It kind of pisses me off, but you're not the first one to sit here and piss me off because you're so cute. No. It happens to me often.
Oh,
it happens to me often.
Stop.
So I met you through the one Kim Bierhoff.
She's
Kimmy,
the best.
just a moment for you, Kimmy, out there. If your little precious, loving ears are listening, thank you for hooking me up with this incredible human.
She's come through for me a couple times. She also helped me. So my daughter was in The Sound of Music through the Butterfly Guild at the Palace Theater. It was her very first show. Homegirl had I had never even heard her sing in front of anybody. And Kim messaged me and was like, hey, do you think your kids would want to audition for this show, like at the Palace downtown? I'm like, sure. So I made them audition, both of them. And my older son was like, he went in there like, doe, a deer, a feet. They were like, dance. And he was like, rain, trabaga. I mean, just so boring, so lame. And he was like, bruh, like this is the worst thing ever. And then my daughter's like, I think I'm going to be Gretel. And I was like, that's cute. And we come back and they're like, she got a call back. And I was all excited. So I have a newborn at the time. One of them, I don't know which kid it was. There's so many of them. I think it was it was the baby. Yeah, because this was just 2 years ago. And I have a newborn and we go back to this callback. And she comes back out after 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, ready to go home? And they were like, no. This is going to be like 4 or 5 hours. And I was like, oh, that sounds...
This is legit.
This is legit. But she got the part. She's like a musical theater person now and dancer and all the things I was not ever growing up. So
speaking of your kids, you have a brood.
I got a brood. I got a 5 whole kids. Basketball team.
Okay. So the oldest is like 39th in the country or the world for golf?
Yes.
That is huge.
Yeah, he's a good golfer. He started when he was just a baby, just like, first of all, he had this broomstick when he was like 2 years old and he kept swinging it around and we're like, cute. But my husband's like, stick a golf club in his hands. It'll be great. And he actually was hitting it. He was like 2 in a diaper, like hitting the ball. And I know everyone out there is like, okay, well, my kid can do that too. I get it. Like it's one of those proud mom things. But we started getting him into lessons. He started doing tournaments. He's gone to Worlds the past 5 years. And he loves it. He loves it. That's not his only thing. He does soccer as well.
Yeah.
And he's also like a total frat kid at like 11 years old. I mean, just the coolest.
So 4 boys and 1 girl.
4 boys, 1 girl. And a lot of people ask me, like, is the girl the youngest? You finally got your girl? Like, no, she's second oldest.
No, so you were an only child and you said you hated it.
I did, yeah.
And it was lonely.
It was very lonely. I remember like being a kid watching Home Alone and thinking like that opening scene where it's just chaos and everyone's running around and throwing suitcases and like answering the door to burglars and all of that. I just thought like, how fun would that be to have a house like that? And I just didn't have that growing up. And so I never thought I didn't have a number or anything. I just knew I wanted more than one child. And here I am with 5, and it's just exactly that opening scene from Home Alone every single day.
When you met your husband, Jeff?
Jeff.
When you realized he came from a family of 6,
yes,
was that so seductive to you where you're like,
no,
or you, because I would think I would be so into that. Like,
well, yeah. So he has 6 siblings. He's one of 7. And typically when a kid comes from a family that large, they don't want that many kids. They're like, I didn't get enough attention or something to that extreme. But my husband was like, I want a ton of kids. And I don't really remember ever talking about it, being like, how many do you want? Da, 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 that kind of thing.
Yeah. I would just think when you met him though, and like went to visit his family, and you saw all of that.
Yes.
It kind of had to be real intriguing for you. Like definitely in the pro column for Jeff.
Yes.
That he had a big family.
And I remember his family being like, is this too much for you? Like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. This is wonderful. So just having the constant conversations, and he's extremely close with his siblings, which I think also is pretty rare. I mean, very, very close family, even though they're all in Texas and they're all in Arkansas and Oklahoma. He's still very close to them. And I really liked that. They genuinely really love each other. And I feel as though if we can create that type of relationship for our kids, that's winning the lottery for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And you were on the news for a long time.
Long time, yeah.
Which, obviously, not to compliment you again, but you just have everything going that somebody would want to look at, every morning or whatever. What kind of newscaster were you?
So pretty much I did a lot of different things. I was in the industry for just shy of a decade. About 9 years. I did morning news, evenings, weekends, anchor. I was also a field reporter. I did some sports. I even did some weather, which I don't know why. I was like, it's rain. It was like, I was like, let me see. Oh, get your umbrellas. I was terrible at weather. I did enjoy sports. I loved it. I loved the job. It was the coolest. I met some really amazing people. I did some phenomenal things. But it was not conducive, in my opinion, to having a family.
Especially 5 kids. Like it's a grind, right?
It was very difficult. I was still doing it when my oldest was born. And my daughter. And when my daughter was about, I guess when I was supposed to go back from maternity leave, I was like, I think I'm done with this, the full-time stuff. I never really wanted to leave it completely, which I haven't. I still do freelance TV, radio, podcasts, the whole social media realm, all of that. But now it's kind of on my own time. I can pick and choose. Do I want to do this? Can I do this? No, I'm going to be out of town for my son's soccer tournament or whatever it may be, and I don't get docked for it. So, yeah.
Well, what an incredible entree into social media, though. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at someone like you thinking, okay, she's got all of it. She's got the if factor, she's clearly. And then having social media and being able to sort of take it and create this relatable persona that you have. I love watching your shit on Instagram. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm like, okay, wait. Especially when you do the ones where you show the influencer who's all like, by the way, who are these people? But then I know you're coming in hot with like the real shit. I'm like, this is so great. Where do you get all your inspiration?
Oh my gosh. Well,
just life?
I would say life, 5 kids. It's funny because way back when I was I was really passionate about starting this Instagram social media thing. I just thought like, okay, this is great because I can be creative. It'll be fun. And I remember I hired this consultant and she just was like, I'm going to get you to 100,000 followers. Because at the time it was like, it didn't matter about engagement or anything. It's just like, you want to have followers, right? Followers. I mean, we know it's more about the engagement. It's more about building a community. But at the time I just thought, okay, great. And I remember actually talking to her on the phone. I don't even think I've told anybody this story ever, but I remember telling her, like, I want to be very relatable. I want to just be real. I want to be in my bathrobe. I want to have my hair a mess. I want to just be showing, like, the crayons on the, coloring on the wall and the broken blinds and everything. And I remember her being like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see the perfect aesthetic, what they dream to have. And I just remember being like, you're fired. I'm done. Like, I don't need to be paying you money to, and hopefully she made a wonderful career for herself. But I remember her telling me that. And I felt like in my gut, I was like, no, there's a huge community that wants to see real life. You can still look nice. You can still get dressed up at times. You can still go out with your husband or your girlfriends and, kick it up a notch. But at the same time, like, let's just be real. That's not how you are every single day. Sometimes I still get overwhelmed looking at other people's houses or their Halloween decorations or whatever. And I'm like, they're putting out all these recipes of like really great ideas. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't think about it because I don't have time to think about that. Like, I'm just going to throw on a charcuterie board, a jack-o'-lantern with like Cheetos and grapes and call it a day. And,
the one you just put out, you were showing your house.
Yeah.
And I, of course, loved it all. But then specifically the one where you showed all the stickers on all of the cupboards, because I'm in that phase right now with my son. And I'll look around and I'll see it and it will just make my heart. I was like, that's it. Like, it's like you go one way or the other. Like, is it really important for me to have the most? I love my kitchen. I think it's aesthetically great. I designed it.
Yeah.
But I don't mind him putting stickers on it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind seeing the Play-Doh sitting out. Like,
right.
It's just, how do you want your kids to remember? It's not about being perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's the $1 million question, how your kids are going to remember. Sometimes I say things to my kids like, are you going to, I'll do something, I'll rage, I'll get really angry with them. And then I'll be like, oh my God, that's how they're going to remember me. They're not going to remember I made them cookies and I cuddled and I did this and I did this. They're going to remember me being like a psycho and just like freaking out because just put your clothes in the dirty hamper. How hard is it? Like my oldest, I love him, but he'll just set it right there. And it's like,
yeah,
it's right there, that kind of stuff. So how they're going to remember me, I don't know. I guess that's kind of what's weighing heavily on me now is just what they're going to grow up to think of their parents,
something tells me it'll be a mixed bag. Like, I think that's,
sure.
I could sit here and say to myself, oh, I know that I'm, there's going to be some things that they remember that they're like, yeah, mom was a little this, but I think overall, something tells me that you care about them first and their experiences. And that's truly the biggest thing. You put them first.
Yeah, I know. I've had all of these ideas. I'm always thinking, even when I was talking to you before we started, I was like, oh, I want to start a podcast. This is really cool. And then I just think, I don't know if I have time or bandwidth with something like that right now, and I always, at the beginning of the year, my husband, when we go to Arkansas to visit his family, we always set these goals for the year. And I know it's cheesy and people nowadays are like, don't set goals, like, that kind of thing. But we always do. We set our goals for the new year. And usually I'm always like, I'm going to write a book or I'm going to start a business or I'm this or that. And at the beginning of this year, I had nothing because I felt like I really needed to put my kids first and I couldn't put that on paper. I didn't know what that looked like. So if that meant homeschooling them, because right now I'm homeschooling the two older ones, or if that meant putting my phone down and not recording that reel, even though I know it would be really funny, then that's what it would look like. And so you can't really put that on paper because it's not really, it's not a quantifiable goal, but at the same time, that's just kind of how that's the phase I'm in my life right now because my oldest is 11. He's almost 12. He keeps talking about, well, in like 3 years I could be driving and then 5 years I'm off to college. And here's the thing, like you think, oh, but you have 5 kids. You can just recycle them in like the next one. But when that first one goes, it will never be the same. It will never be the same. And so we're just really trying to soak in every minute, even if it is chaos and broken blinds. And my house is so gross. Like, it's clean. Everyone's like, oh, your house is really clean. And I like to keep it clean. But like,
don't look too close.
Don't look too close. Exactly. And that's okay.
No, that's how I feel about my house. I'm glad I have that like marble. I have the marble and it's all like you can't see all the shit because it's like doing all this swirly stuff. I'm like, oh, there's lots of stains on there. But what you said, you said something like people, I know people are like, don't set goals. I don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
You should always set goals. I mean, if you don't.
Those are people that can't reach their goals.
Just always, whether you write them down, you don't have to do things in a certain way. Like if you're not reaching for something and I love that your husband, you guys do it together.
Yes.
That you're in alignment.
Yes.
I mean, that is so important.
Yes,
so like kudos for you guys because a lot of people aren't even doing that. They're just like rudderless ships in the ocean. That's what my dad used to call me in college. He like, Keri, honey, what are you doing? Are you like a rudderless ship in the ocean? I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
And now I look back and I'm like, yeah, he knew.
Yeah, I don't even remember college. I was just like a blackout of college.
Right. So you homeschool your two eldest.
I do. Yeah.
So how did that come about?
So during the pandemic in 2020, I pulled them all out of the public school district, not for any other reason, but because I was nervous it would be like, we're going to be in for 3 days and then we're going to be home for 2 weeks and then we're going to be this and this and this and this. And it was just like, I just didn't want to have to, I don't know. I was nervous about that. I was nervous about the uncertainty of like, are they going to school? Are they wearing masks? Are they this? And I was always kind of curious about the homeschool opportunity with education and just kind of going down that road. And so that kind of gave me a perfect excuse during COVID is to just be like, well, let's just try it. So I completely took them out of the school district and we homeschooled that year. The following year, my daughter could not run fast enough back to school. She was just like, deuces, I want to go back to school. And she was also in second grade, so she homeschooled first grade. And I really think that those first years are just so rainbows and butterflies, and it's just so wonderful. And if I'm being truthful, I didn't really want to have to teach reading and writing and general mathematics, so I was fine with that. My older son, he homeschooled for 2 more years. He really liked the flexibility of it. He golfs a lot. He loved going to the course at like 1 o'clock on a Tuesday where it's just a bunch of 80-year-old men. And so he stuck with that. And then he decided to go back to our public school district last year. Loved it, made a lot of friends, was very involved. But this year he decided he wanted to go back to homeschool. And I think it really has to do with the flexibility. Like today, obviously I'm here with you. I'm not teaching them. So they're just having like kind of a free day. We can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do it, or we could do it on Saturday afternoon, or we could do it in the evenings. And both of them are kind of at that age where things are it's middle school, right? Mm-hmm. Like who likes middle school? Mm-hmm. It's middle school. And I also think, as cheesy as this sounds, they just miss their family. They're so busy. My daughter, on 2 nights a week, she does not get home from dance till 10:30 at night. And she's in musicals and she's at 2 different dance studios and she's doing vocal lessons and piano. And my son is golfing and he's doing all these soccer tournaments. And then, he has a ton of friends and we live in a neighborhood. So, the first thing you think is like, okay, they're homeschooled. They're weird. They're antisocial. That's not the case because they're involved in a million different things. And I think that especially for my daughter, she really missed being home with her family. We were off doing things while she was at dance or while she was doing, a musical, and she missed a lot. And so she just wanted to enjoy that. And so I welcomed that. And people might think I'm crazy for doing it, but that's what we're doing this year.
Ready to elevate your self-care game? Boss Gal Beauty Bar is a modern med spa offering everything from cosmetic injectables, lasers and microneedling, to medical-grade facials and skincare. Conveniently located in Clintonville, Grandview, Powell, and Easton, making self-care a priority has never been easier. Use code CROFT for $25 off your first visit. So. I don't. Homeschooling has taken on a different tone post-COVID.
Yep.
My sister-in-law is doing it. And she was talking to me a little bit about it around just the cohorts and the community around homeschooling. So you're not like on this island. I think I don't think there is a movement. And let alone talking about the gun safety and all that. There's myriad reasons why a mom would want to keep their kids at home. Now, I personally couldn't do it.
See, but that's the very first thing people say to me. And I disagree.
You think I could do it?
I think anybody can do it. And here's why. I was not a great student. Could care less about school. I wasn't a former teacher. I was in school to socialize and to play basketball. Like that was my whole thing. So it's not like because a lot of times when you hear someone that homeschools and it's like, oh, and I was a former math teacher, So I wasn't exactly like in love with the education system in general to begin with. And I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it because this is all it really takes. It takes a schedule, which you're highly organized. Yeah. You can schedule things. And then it takes just really love because as much as I love teachers and I love educators and administrators, no one's going to love your child more than you. Period.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
And there's so many options out there online and there's so many co-ops and there's so many different communities and there's so much out there that I think is way more available than when we were young. I remember there was one kid at my school that homeschooled and everyone was like, he eats boogers. It's weird, like so weird. Yeah. And I think, as you mentioned, a lot of it has changed. Hey, but I'm not against the public school because my second grader, he still goes to the public school. And all of our kids at that young age, they'll go. And then when they're old enough to make a decision, and my oldest wants to go to high school. Like, I'm not saying one way or another.
You're fluid.
You're very fluid. I'm homeschool fluid, and I'm willing to do it because I think my biggest fear is regretting time with my kids. And if I'm getting time with my kids by teaching them, then that's just time. So
can you get like a structured curriculum or whatever?
Yep, there's tons.
Is that what you do?
I don't.
How do you know?
Before in the past. I guess, I don't know. This is my, fourth year of homeschooling. So I guess you kind of
figure it out.
You figure it out. I know you're going to ask, how do you know you're like doing the right thing? Is that?
No, I mean, hell, that's a question I have for, that's not even specific to that.
Yeah.
Because I wonder how the teachers at school know they're doing how do I know I'm doing the right thing? I feel like I'm more in tune with what you're doing than what you might think I am, because you're probably used to it being such a anomaly and having to explain yourself. I personally feel like it's really cool when a mom wants to homeschool and if the kid wants to be there, I see that that's pretty neat thing.
Yeah.
And then I also, where my head's going to is like, not only the safety thing, but also like the peer pressure stuff and the phone stuff. Like, how does that differ then?
Yeah.
That has to be better,
That's
right?
a great question. Yeah, I personally think so, because last year, as I mentioned, my son was in 5th grade and absolutely everybody had a phone. Every single, at least that's what he told me, right? He could be totally just saying that. But I think that I don't want to be that parent who's a helicopter parent and is like checking messages and all of that kind of stuff. But I think that the peer pressure, my kids are at that age. It's 5th and 6th grade. So they see, they hear things, and they're not perfect. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and be like, they're perfect. But at the same time, I think that they're not in a bubble, obviously, because we live in a neighborhood. My oldest is friends with, there goes my earring. He's friends with a lot of older kids, so it's not just kids his age. But I do think that there is a certain level of having a better handle on that kind of stuff. I'm going to fix my earring.
Do you and your husband have a specific plan of attack for the social media stuff? Because it freaks me out.
Yeah, well, they don't have it now.
So just
my oldest had, he actually had an account just for golf, because he's got friends in Mexico and he's got golf friends.
Yeah.
And actually, I I feel awful about this, but I put his age on there because it's like, he's an 11-year-old golfer from Ohio. Like that's,
yeah.
And Instagram deleted the account because he wasn't 13. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And I told him and he was like, I didn't care, Mom. Like I was the one running it and it was just golf pictures. He's not quite to the age yet. I don't think Ohio State golf coach is listening to this being like, oh, that Luke Ireland kid, I mean, he's not quite to that age yet. So right now they don't have it, but they absolutely look on YouTube. I think every kid, even my 2-year-old, sometimes gets on YouTube, which YouTube isn't necessarily much better. They have those YouTube shorts, which are basically just TikTok and Instagram videos. Yeah. So right now, they don't have it. Right now, they haven't asked to have it. My older one asked me at one point if he could get Snapchat. And I'm like, do you even know what Snapchat is? And he was like, no. And I was like, no, you're not getting
We don't need to be doing that right now.
No, we're not doing that. I read, I don't know if you read The Anxious Generation, that book. I
probably shouldn't I?
Highly recommend it to any parent, even if you have a child that's like 2. And it's just all about how now social media and the phone has been introduced long enough that we have concrete data on the correlation between anxiety and depression and suicide rates and everything. And a lot of it stems from social media. And I feel weird saying that considering like social media is my platform.
You're a grown-ass woman.
That's true.
And so
I would hope.
We need sometimes, right? We're sometimes there is a distinction there, but it's a slippery slope, right? And this is what I was going to ask you next, and it kind of all goes together. When you're doing these reels, it's all consuming sometimes because you're on your phone, you're trying to video and and your kids see it, your husband sees it. It's like, this is what mom does.
Yep.
So it's very hard to kind of beat the drum of phones and social media when it's mommy's job. But it truly is the difference between having your, frontal cortex, like your frontal lobe being fully developed and being an adult. But how do they distinguish between, does your husband get annoyed about the videoing, or is he totally on board?
Well, for one, he works a ton, so he's not. It's not like we're sitting at home together, like Little House on the Prairie, doing homeschool with our coffee grounds that we ground. We don't even go to Starbucks, and I'm there recording or anything. So he doesn't really see a ton of it. I ask him sometimes to do reels, and he's like, "I'll pass." Like rarely does he appear in a reel, and that's fine. But he's on his phone too, and it might not be social media, but it's emails, or it's scheduling, or it's talking to people that he works with all the time. And so that is something we talk about it a lot. And my husband and I are both like, yeah, the baby Asa, he's 2, he wants to be on an iPad, and that's because he sees us on it. But that's the double-edged sword. Like, how do you put that down, and you've got to have protected time. I don't record my kids anymore unless they genuinely want to be, because my oldest is at the age now where he doesn't really want to be in it, and that's fine. So my whole page has kind of shifted from the kids to more mom, like make fun of mom drives a minivan, mom's, a mess or whatever. And sometimes they'll be in it and they're okay with that. But I'll ask the older two, like, are you okay with this? Or, do you want to be in this? Do you want to be a part of this? Because they're kind of at that age now. But yeah, that's the difficult thing. And I don't have the answer to it. Like, how do you put it down when it's your job? I've always thought like, it'd be great to just delete it all, but that's not.
But I don't think social media, I don't think you can take a stroke and say it's just bad.
Yes,
it's
correct.
It's like most things in life. It's how are you utilizing it? What is your intent behind it? And so I think social media is such a valuable tool in so many ways. Is it misused? Is it overused? All these things, but you have the ability to sort of carve out how you're going to use social media.
Yes.
And back to the kid thing. So I've had, I put Dane on and Kyle sometimes, and there's this whole like everybody judges everything, let's be honest. But,
Yeah.
you know, oh, you have your kids on? Or it's like, yeah, like, but it's always authentic. Like, I never sit Dane up on my makeup thing. I'm like, Dane, you know, and that's why we don't do it consistently. It's like, if he's vibing, he wants to come in, I hit play, hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? He can look back on that too. And he has more photos and videos of himself growing up. Like I think that's super cool too.
Yeah, it's the modern day baby book, right?
Yes.
I never filled those out because I'm just like, go to my Instagram.
Yes, no, it's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
But you really bring up a great point. You know, back in the early days when I was really getting this social media thing going, I did accept a lot of collaborations, tons. I mean, baby products and the snoo, the little, you know, did you have this snoo?
I didn't have it, but I know about it.
Yeah, or a stroller or whatever. And I realized it was that. It was, no, you have to do this because this is my vision, da-da-da-da-da. And then I was like, why? So it's very rare that I do a collaboration with anyone anymore because it's just not authentic. Unless it's a product or something that I'm genuinely passionate about and I really, really like. Because I think there was a time where influencers were just shoving this stuff down people's throats. And it's like, okay, but do you really like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's just like anything else in life. I mean, are you being genuine?
Well, yeah.
Are you being authentic?
And I would say the majority of the people on social media are not.
And the ones that
gosh.
I mean, but I have my sniffer. I have such a sniffer for that stuff. And I mean, I can see through the weeds so fast. And when I see those people who are genuinely doing them, I am like, you go.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'll watch them push the product. I'm like, I know you absolutely love this. And like, I love you for it.
Right.
And I might even buy that. But no, you see that over time with people in life, and you see it over time with people on social media. And that's my thing. When I love something, I will fucking collaborate with you all day long. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Where are the dollars?
Yeah.
Bring it on. Zara?
Yeah. I know.
Zara, they never talk to me. I have tagged them.
Oh, you know who I want, Keri?
Who?
I want Waffle House.
You should have Waffle House.
I genuinely
that
love
that would be
Waffle
so
House.
on brand.
And I even, this is so embarrassing. Even like a couple days ago, I totally got on their website and I'm like, do they work with collaborators?
No, absolutely.
They do not.
They
do
don't.
not.
They're like, no, we don't need you.
We don't need you. I would be all over Waffle House.
You know what I'm doing to Zara now?
Yeah.
See this? This is Aritzia.
Oh.
This sweatsuit, mint. It's Aritzia.
Yeah.
I have worn Zara on every single episode.
Yeah.
I have tagged them. I want to. You know what I want? I want the boxes to come.
Yep.
I want to open them and be excited and do all that. They will not acknowledge me.
They don't budge.
I'm a pick me for Zara.
Yeah. You know, you'll have some brands like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. So what is your strategy? How many reels do you have, like a thought out strategy of how many you just kind of go, you just go with the wind?
Yeah, I kind of do. Isn't that awful? You know, it's funny. Like so this is wild. I had this reel that I posted 2 weeks ago. I thought it was like, oh, it's funny, but it's gotten up to 100 million views. Never in my life.
100 million?
Yes, Keri, yes.
Are there even 100 million people anywhere?
Million views. I will show it to you after this. You know what? And I'm so like, I don't even know the word for it, but I totally got on Kim Kardashian's site or her page, and I was like, let's see how many views she's had. And she had one that was at 90, and I was like, I beat her.
Which one is it?
Oh my gosh. So it's this kid going down a water slide. Have you seen this one? Okay. Anyway. He goes down this water slide and he's like, what a nice peaceful water slide. And then this other kid comes right behind him and like totally flies over it. It's just wild. It's 5 seconds. It's not even my kids. It's not my video. I just put the catchy words on it and the audio and everything, and it's blown up. I did tag the original creator, you know, and I gave the guy credit and everything, but it's blown up. I had SZN who liked it. Jason Derulo reached out to me to post it. Yeah, all this crazy stuff. I had no strategy behind that. I just thought it was funny, so I posted it. And the next morning I woke up and it was already at 7 million views. And I was like, that's weird. And then it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing.
What a
and
dopamine hit.
But here's the deal. Like, I will never do that again. That's the thing about social media. Like,
you don't know that, though.
Well, maybe, but it's going to be a few years from now. But that's the thing about it, is you never really know what's going to go viral. You have no clue. Like, I will post stuff that I think is so funny. I spent so much time on it. I think it's hilarious. And falls flat, wah, wah, you know, that kind of thing. So you just really never know. So I don't really have a strategy. I see stuff and I really try to stay, I know this is going to sound so like, yeah, right, Shanisty, but I really do try to stay off of it, and I don't try to scroll. Yeah. Because it's a time suck. And it'll make you feel bad about yourself. And then for me, it's not like feeling bad about myself about like I don't have a beautiful kitchen. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? That's really funny. Like, that's really funny. And that's so relatable. And why didn't I think of that? You know? And then I'll be like, well, I can't repeat it. Okay, maybe I can, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I don't really do trending audios in terms of like the voiceovers very often. I try to do my own things, and then I usually post every day, which it's not like I'm planning on it, but I'll just go through my day and I'll be like, man, that's really funny. I bet everybody can relate to that. You know, Today I was like, you know, I wonder how much time on average it takes for me to hear mom in a day. I mean, I literally sometimes will think every 30 seconds, it'll take 30 seconds, I'll hear someone calling my name. That's honest to God. Or maybe a minute. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes, but otherwise it's usually like I can't even wipe. Yeah, I can't even wash my hands like in the bathroom. It's just like,
I can't even imagine, because my one child, Dane, I mean, I have two, but Kyle can't really talk yet.
Yeah.
And he calls me Mop,
Mop.
M-O-P,
I like that.
And he kind of goes, Mop.
Yeah.
Mop.
How old is he?
He's 5.5, Dane. He's like, Mop.
Oh, I thought you said
Kyle's 13 months.
Got it.
But Dane's like, Mop.
Yeah.
Mop.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dane, I'm here. Mop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dane.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Dane. I'm like, yeah, Dane.
I know.
God, love you, you sweet boy.
And then my 5-year-old would be like, okay, fine, you're not listening. And I'm like, I'm talking to you. I'm in the middle of a conversation with you. And they get so frustrated. But you just hear your name over and over again. And then you think to yourself, you're going to miss this. You're going to miss this. And I'm like, no.
No, there's certain things you may not.
I don't know,
you know,
if I'm gonna miss
there's
that.
a lot of things you will. And there's certain things that I'm like, you know what? It's okay for me to be like, I'm probably not going to miss this exact thing, but I'm going to miss a lot of other things.
A lot of things, but I'm not going to miss hearing mom every 30 seconds.
Do you get your sense of humor from your dad?
I think so. Yeah, my dad's hilarious.
We should call him.
I know. Oh, I don't. Yeah,
do you think he would? Do you think he would want to talk to us?
I think so.
And then we'll have to call him.
This is like phone a friend.
Hello?
Bud.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's wonderful. How you doing?
I'm, you know what? If I was any better, it would be a real problem here. I'm sitting here staring at your beautiful daughter. She's across from me. She's on the Keri Croft show right now. And the reason why we're calling you, Bud, is because I have people fill out these intake forms, and she put on there that she gets her sense of humor from you, and that you're basically an entire movement because you're so funny.
Okay. Well, you know, Keri, first of all, you got to know where she's coming from. You know what I mean? She, I don't know. I really, you know, my grandkids is very talented, all of them. And, you know, people have enough nerve to say, where did they get that from? Well, where do you think?
You're basically, right? you are the nucleus.
Pretty much. Yeah. I guess you could call it the movement.
What did we catch you in the middle of, Bud?
Well, right now, I'm going up Route 23. I was going to go wash my truck, and I get a call from her saying, wanted to know if I was on a podcast. I really don't know what a lot of this is.
But sometimes what you have to do is you have to throw caution to the wind and just jump. And that's what you did. You picked up the phone, and now here we are. Bud, do you listen to music?
I do listen to music. I like all music if it's good.
Like what are you listening to currently?
So I listen to a lot of Bob Dylan.
I love Bob Dylan.
You know, oh, do you really?
Yeah, I love Bob Dylan.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, can you tell me something I don't know about Bob Dylan?
I think we're soulmates. I'm not trying to one up you on Bob Dylan. I'm just telling you I like him.
How's my daughter doing? She's doing okay?
I'm crying. I just shared my love of Waffle House. That comes from you as well. I'm crying not because you're making emotional. I'm just crying, laughing so hard, thinking of what you're actually thinking in your head right now. Like, what the hell is going on?
But it's kind of like a train wreck, I said, what the hell? What the hell is going on with my life?
Well,
now I got people calling me. Yeah, but the Awful House is always good.
It is.
Slav Evans is pretty good.
The Awful House and Slav Evans. Bud, before we hang up with you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would like to hear one life quote one word of wisdom that you could pass on to this community of mine, and they could latch onto and just carry Bud's torch throughout their lives.
Well, I gave a good piece of advice to my niece Natalie, which is like my younger daughter. Love her to death. She married just Joey Nana or whatever the hell I said. And the guy's really a stand-up guy. I said, listen, marriage is like a hot tub. It's hot when you go into it, but it cools down. That's where you got to be strong and carry on. I've been married to Shanisty's mother. She's a very lucky woman, by the way. 47 years counting down. And we're still, I would say, pretty much friends. Okay? So I hope that helped you out.
Oh my God,
I hope you guys have a great time.
Bud.
I'm about to hang up now. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Bud. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you.
Oh my God.
Anytime. I'll try to remember your number.
Put me in your contacts so you know my name. It's Keri. Keri.
Yes, ma'am. I surely will.
All right, Bud.
Okay.
Love you, Dad.
Be safe out there.
Love you all.
Oh my gosh,
bye-bye.
bye. I'm crying.
No, was...
I'm telling you, he's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Should I take these off or leave them
on? We'll take them off.
Oh my God. I'm crying. I know. He's hilarious.
You just want to have fun.
I'm just having fun. I know. I was actually asked to do like another podcast where this guy was going to fly to Vegas and do this whole thing. And I was like, that would be so cool because he's got like 11 million followers and all this stuff. But then I was like, I don't have anything to sell. Like, I don't really have an angle. I'm just here.
You're just doing you.
Just relatable. Real.
Yeah.
Speaking
of reals.
Yeah.
I want to do, we need to get on it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Shanisty Ireland.
Yes.
And Bud, I hope you listen to this because I think we're new friends. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
What a freaking blast.
Yeah.
And if you're still out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, keep moving, baby. Oh my God. Your mom. I mean, what is she like?
She's really funny. I mean, she goes with it.